Hello, my friends. I wanted to make a comment on the history of land theft and genocide, racist policies that the United States used to become the United States, and in particular, the land theft and genocide committed against the Mexican people and the Native American people who were the rightful original owners of half of this continent, the tribes that of the western United States, the southwestern, all the way up to the north to Canada and down to the southwest border with Mexico. And I hear all this right wingers and all this so-called real Americans, who, by the way, they're mostly don't have a drop of blood of Native American blood in them, and whose ethnicity is almost 100% Caucasian, i.e., Germans and British, French, they're European Christians who who invaded the American the North American continent. I'm talking the European Christians invaded the entire American continent. Started with the Spanish-speaking European Christians, then the rest of them followed suit in the invasion of the American continent. There was no discovery. You can't discover a place that's been inhabited for tens of thousands of years by humans. If you believe that, you're saying that the Native American people were not people; they were just animals, or savages, or whatever the Catholic Church determined them to be in their papal bulls, which is their orders from the Catholic Church to invade and conquer and seize and steal the land and evangelize and convert, and nothing more than kill them and steal the children from their mothers and stuff, and give them and sell them to white people coming from Europe. So, which is what happened. And so I wanted to focus on the southwestern part of it, and how hypocritical and how racist it sounds when you hear this right wingers, mostly white people, the vast majority of them. When I say white people, there isn't an ethnicity that's white. Nobody's white. That's a made up. It's a made up psychological warfare term to enslave the rest of the non-Caucasian, non-European people, which is what the European Christians have done, and throughout the entire history of their invasion. If you look at history, they did it. It's estimated that European Christians killed between 50 and 100 million Native Americans in the American continent. European Christians invaded Australia. They committed genocide against the Aboriginal people of Australia, who have been there for 60,000 years. 60,000 years those people have been there, living in harmony with the land. And European Christians, namely the British, invaded Australia and killed everybody off, stole their land. And now you see this European Christian, Caucasian people calling for an end to migration, to immigration, to Australia. They stole it, but they don't want anybody, the same shit the European Christians did in Southeast Asia, namely the French, who committed the vast atrocities in Vietnam, and the rest of the surrounding areas. The British did the same in China. They did it, as a matter of fact, they did it to India. They invaded and enslaved and pillaged and killed The population, and that was not ancient history. That just the other day stopped in India. It just the other day partially stopped in South Africa with the end of apartheid, and it hasn't stopped because there's still a vast, European Christian a minority ruling a ginormous African, ethnically African majority through the use of laws and oppression and systemic oppression. And they're still living in the lands that they stole from the ethnic Africans when they invaded Africa. There's a movement to recover the land stolen by European Christians from their ancestors. And I fully support. I don't support it violently because that's going to lead to too much bloodshed. But it has to be some reparation, a lot of reparation paid to all those the descendants. And you can't say, oh well, I didn't do that, but you sure as hell are enjoying the benefits and the fruits of that genocide and that land theft. This is not your land if you don't have Native American blood in you. This is not, I know I veered, of course, but I'm trying to show you a pattern, and I'm gonna make another video on the true invaders and the true barbarians of our time, of the modern era, the last, I want to say 2,000 years, the Christian era, who have been the European Christians. So on the southwestern part of the United States, that territory belonged to Native American tribes and Mexico. And the United States, through the use of aggressive war. Aggressive war is what Hitler used, is attacking anybody who won't give you what's theirs. And that's exactly what the United States government did. That's what they did with when the rest of the country, they stole it. The European Christians landed. First, it was the Spanish-speaking European Christians. That's why you have a lot of names are in Spanish of the states. Montana, which is montaña, which is mountain. Nevada, which is snowy or snowfall. Florida, that means flowery or full of flowers. The name, it's Arizona, arid zone. So basically what you have is in the invasion from one ethnic group and to European Christians. Christianity is not an ethnicity, obviously, but it is attached. It's a religion attached to the largest genocide and land theft in human history. So basically, now you have all these people. The people that are behind this aggressive push for the closing of the borders are the people who are the descendants of the European Christians who stole that land from the Mexicans. And now they're calling the descendants of the owners, of the rightful owners of the southwestern United States, illegal aliens, thieves, rapists. In essence, they're describing their ancestors. They're describing the European Christian ancestors when they're describing modern day Caucasian white people are describing Mexicans, the right wing. I'm talking about the right wing racist people. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about the right-wing racist people, okay? And let me qualify that very specifically. Right-wing racist, right-wing evangelical Christian descendants. They're Caucasian who call themselves real Americans, but most of them don't have a drop of Native American blood, and they're living on land that was stolen by their ancestors from Mexican people, who they're now calling invaders. Isn't that a motherfucker? And I want you to think about that for 1 second. At the end of the day, I think humanity has to, if we are to survive as a species, we have to focus on education. We have to focus on taking care of our health, not only our health as a species, but our health as members of a planet, the health of the planet, environmentalism, which the right wing evangelical Christians and the right wing racist Christians they're probably, you can probably put them all in the same category. Um, they're completely against. They want to continue polluting. As a matter of fact, they're removing all the stops. But going back to what I was saying, these people are American by birth. They're not American ethnically. Yet here they are trying to vilify and classify the original inhabitants, who are true. A lot of Mexican people have almost pure Native American blood in their veins. And but going back to what I was saying, if we are to heal as a species, if we are to survive as a species, we're going to have to start thinking as a species and start removing barriers slowly. Start removing, borders and all that stuff. We have to start, instead of attacking our neighbors, we have to start empowering our neighbors to fend for themselves with agriculture, education, environmental, consciousness, and all of that. Because if we help our neighbor does not have to be desperate enough to grab their children and walk across the desert, traveling away from destruction, which, by the way, has been caused by United States foreign policy in Central America and the support of atrocious dictatorships in Central America, South America, Mexico's in Central America, and also part of Mexico's in North America. So we need to start supporting initiatives and candidates who empower and help our neighbors, all of our neighbors, not attack them like this asshole, this piece of shit. I have no other way to describe Donald Trump. This guy's a piece of shit. A human garbage, human trash, just like the Nazis. We can't be supporting people like that if we want our species to heal. If we want our planet to survive and our species to survive, and the rest of the species, we are part of an ecosystem. We have to become one as a species and do the best that we can to to help each other out. That's the only way to survive.